Hello friends, this is our fourth lecture on intentional fallacy. Straight away, Wimsatt and Beardsley, they say that there are some passwords. You know about passwords, isn't it? Passwords for your file or your channel and so on. You have got passwords. So the intentional school's passwords are sincerity, fidelity, spontaneity, genuineness, authenticity, originality, integrity, relevance, unity, function, maturity, subtlety, adequacy. So the intentionalist school will say the poet's feelings are sincere, faithful, spontaneous, genuine, authentic, original, has got integrity, relevant, has got unity, it is the right function, is mature, is subtle, and is adequate. That's what they say. According to them, expression is equal to aesthetic achievement. Once you express, it is achievement. Or they say, but at the same time, this is very important to see, at the same time, this is a part of the quotation from these two others. They say that the evaluation of the work of art remains public. The work is measured against something outside the author. So we are not concerned about the author. The work is something out. It is public, so to say. Because he says, they say, objectification of feeling. Objectification of feeling is aesthetic art, or that is aesthetic achievement. They say. In that case, sometimes what happens is the poet himself becomes a self-critic, like we say self-feeling. So objectification of feelings, he completes, then he changes it. Why does he change it? He has changed his intention. And therefore, Wimsatt and Beardsley say, you cannot trust the intention of the author. What you have to do is this one. Something outside the author. You have to evaluate the poem, evaluate the work of art, based on something outside the author. Not poem, but outside the author. And then he says, there is see the whole thing we can see. Personal studies means biography of the author. Literary studies, that means about the work as such, and study of author psychology, study of criticism of poetry, psychological, historical study, literary biography, or we can say personal evidences. You can collect all these things. You can go through all these. Literary scholarship comprises whatever I have just now listed. For some personal studies, literary studies, author psychology, criticism of poetry, psychological and historical study, and literary biography, and then you can have whatever external evidence you can collect, you can have. You can see how the author used language in his or her way. That is what we call personal style. We call idiolect. Idiolect in linguistics. Idiolect. An individual's use of language. Language, then you have got dialect, you have register, these things I think register, various registers of language, and idiolect. Dialect means the individual's peculiar use of a particular language. That involves, for example, special use of words, certain words, that is that is used very often by a particular author with a very special meaning. That is idiolect means. When you put together idiolects, you will get the dialects. When you put together dialects, you will get the language. And another interesting, then where will you see register? Register is use-based and dialect is user-based. That's the difference. Use-based means, suppose, legal register we say. That is language, special language used by lawyers for legal purposes. That is not a dialect, but that is a register. Special type of language used by teachers. That is teachers' register. But language used in a particular area, variety of language used in a particular area, you call dialect. Isn't it? Dialect is a regional dialect. Or by a group of people is a class dialect. A class of people use peculiar, say, with some peculiarities, they use the same language, of course, not a different language. You call it this class dialect. A caste of people use same language with their peculiarities. You call it caste dialect. So dialects are user-based, while register is use-based, and idiolect is the individual's peculiar use of language. So sometimes what happens, you will find when you make literary studies, all these things come under this, what I have just listed. You will find the idiolects of a particular poet, a particular person's use of that language. So, as I have already said, these things, once again I will say, literary studies means personal studies, biography, then you have got, so literary scholarship means personal studies, literary studies, author studies, author psychology, author's background, cultural background, then criticism of poetry, psychological studies, historical studies, all this has come under that. Listen, here what happens is, problem comes is, sometimes we confuse personal with the, as if it is poetic. Personal information, what we say biography, for example, put it in simple language, biography. By studying the biography of the author, we tend to use that for interpreting or for explaining the meaning of the poem. That is wrong. Then you make a mistake. So biography of the author and the work of art should not be clubbed, or in any way biography of the author should not influence the evaluation of a poem. That is what this international those who are against the international schools say. Here we have got Wimsatt and Beardsley. Understand? And these two professors, they said there are three evidences to evaluate a poem. First is the internal evidence. And the paradox is that internal is external. What does that mean? So first evidence is internal evidence. What is this internal evidence? Internal evidence means the poem itself. That is it. And that internal evidence. Internal evidence means the stuff of the poem. You have got letters, you have got words, you have got a comma, colon, then you have got capital letter, see? Then you have got words. Words, you can study the history of the words, etc. Grammar, dictionary meaning, these things. So that is the internal. That means stuff of the poem. But actually it is external. So we can try to find out from these, say, grammar, syntax, then dictionary and all those things. So say for example, you say, April is the cruelest month. And we can find out what is the meaning of cruelest. April also we can find out. Cruel, crueler, cruelest, and things like that we can say. And we can see what is it. So the internal is the external action. Understand? The second type of evidence is external evidence. External evidence. And the external evidence is that we get from, say for example, it is private. External evidence is private. For example, when did he write the poem? Why did he write the where was he sitting? To whom did he address this? For example, sonnets of Shakespeare. So who is the object of the sonnets? Some people say dark lady, some people say. Now that is actually private. External evidence is private. And from where do you get it? You get it from biographies. You get it from articles in magazines, in journals, essays, critical essays and so on. For example, see if you want to get the external evidence of T.S. Eliot, what do you say? Oh, there was a breakdown, you say. So here his first marriage was a failure, and then he was recovering from it. He was, so for some period of time, he was under terrible stress. It's maybe because of that he wrote these lines like that, no? That a game of chess, that lady, that nervous lady. So it may be because of, or it may be a statement of, a poetic statement of his first wife's attitude towards him and towards the world, etc. Or their broken marriage, the relationship after their marriage broke down. Understand? So we say like that. Now this is, you get this idea. This external evidence, as we said, it is private. Internal is public. External is private. And then you get it like this. You got the point. Or you can say his attitude towards this civilization, it is crumbling civilization, and that may be the reason. He was a philosopher, he was thinking like this, and so on and so forth, you can say. Or he was a classicist, see, and because of this, or he was moved by such great poems of Donne and say the metaphysical school. That may be why he has written like this, or he is saying like this. That may be the reason why he has written a tradition on the individual talent, objective, correlative, all these things you can say, because this is external. Internal is external, external is private. Understand? Now, a third type of evidence is there. So, first is internal, second is external, external is private. Private. Internal is public. I hope you understand. Public means the poem is with you. See, that way. There is an evidence of intermediate character. That is private, semi-private meanings attached. So, intermediate evidence of intermediate character. That is internal and external. You will find. So there what happens, you find this semi-private. See, it can be private, it can be the character of the other. The meanings, special meanings attached and so on. And Professor Lowes is an authority on Coleridge. The Road to Xanadu, about Kubla Khan, and also he mentions Ancient Mariner also. Says, from the deep well of Coleridge's memory, where Coleridge had read Bertrand's Travels, these things known to everybody. See. So, and because he read it, he had remembered all those fantastic expressions. See? And that from the deep well of his memory, when he was in as we know, the biographical details as we know, he had taken some sedative. This is that he was suffering from some stomach problem, and he took some sedative. And then he was under that sedition. And so what happens is that during that time, the time when he was semi-conscious, so to say, all the subconscious, all those things, phrases and feelings and emotions and the words, cluster of words and clusters of expressions came and stood before him. And then he wrote down Kubla Khan. And as we know, it is incomplete because he was interrupted at some point. So this is intermediate, evidence of intermediate character. Professor Lowes, an authority on college, says, and he supports this view. But the question there is, even that is of no, it won't stand the test of logic. Because, I'll give you an example. Whenever you start thinking of the wasteland, T.S. wasteland, two books come to our mind. You know, what are they? The Golden Bough and From Ritual to Romance. How can, and even Eliot himself said that he was influenced by these two books. In what way can you connect those lines? Those lines means, hurry up please, it is time. Hurry up please, it is time. From where will you, what way can you connect these lines with J.C. Elveston's book or the Golden Bough? What way can you? What evidence is that? So if we say, he has read it and he himself says he has the main symbolism, see, that he has taken from the Fisher King, etc. He himself says. But at the same time, how can you connect these lines? Or lines like those were pearls that were his eyes. Or how can you connect these lines? For example, summer surprise coming out the Starnberg with a shower of rain is topped with the colonnade and dawn. Where is the ritual there? Where is the Golden Bough there? The reference to Golden Bough? No. So even that, this is actually this intermediate character. Evidence of intermediate character, this semi-private, etc. What happens there is that here the meanings 2 and 3, they sometimes blend, separate, merge, separate. So it's a kind of, what do you say, indeterminate region. See? So that also is not in any way an evidence for intention. That's what we are trying. Internal evidence is public. Poem, grammar, dictionary, words and history of words and so on. External evidence is private. You get it from biography, articles and so on. Intermediate character, evidence of intermediate character, that is you find 2 and 3, merging, sometimes getting separated, sometimes coming together and then again separated, sometimes they come together and remain for some time. So that also is not in any way. We have taken 2 examples. One is Professor Lowes wrote to Sanadu writing about Kubla Khan and I have called it just Kubla Khan and the Ancient Mariner. And then also we have taken another one, that is T.S. Eliot. So in what way can you connect these passages with those 2 books? So, intention fails there also. So biographical evidence not at all involves, or biographical evidence is not at all the basis for intentionalism. Biographical evidence is not what was the intention of this when he wrote the Wasteland? What was the intention of Keats when he wrote that beautiful ballad, La Belle Dame Sans Mercy? We know that he was under stress and strain, etc., etc. But can you connect the poem with that? So, biographical evidence or evidence of 2 and 3 merging and mixing and coming together and separating? Not at all. Now, once again I say, I don't agree with any of these things. I don't mean fully agree. But I am just explaining what these two great professors have said. Don't think that, please do not think that it is my idea. So, you see, Coleridge might have read Bertram's Travels and T.S. Eliot might have read from Ritual to Romance or the Golden Bow. He might have read many other things also. But that knowledge is not evidence for the intention of the poet. That is what Wimsatt and Beardsley say. Because they are against the intentional school. Partially you may find truth in what other people say. But here, at this moment, because criticism of these viewpoints come later. At this moment, we should not enter into that because we will get confused. Understand? So what I was trying to tell you so far is this. According to these two professors, there are certain passwords for intention, intentionalist school, like fidelity, spontaneity and all those things, emotional expression. According to them, expression is objectification of feeling. Not according to them, but the so-called people who support the intention. So the intention of the poet, they say, expression is the conscious objectification of feeling. Now, taking that, the professors, these two professors, the duo, we can say two, they say that even that you cannot depend upon because this objectification of feelings, they change or they replace after some day. So that is not you cannot trust that. Next is the statement that these two professors make is evaluation of the work of art remains public, very clear. The work is measured against something outside the work. Outside the work. And then they speak about literary scholarship. There are too many things you will find within literary scholarship. Biography, history, culture, other poetry, personal studies, literary studies. Everything comes under this. But please do not mix up personal with the art. Please do not, these two processes, please do not mix up personal with the work of art. And then they go on discussing three evidences. One is internal. Internal is external. Why? Because it is grammar, words, syntax, comma, semicolon, and all those things. Capital letter, small letter, etc. So that is with you. It is that so-called internal means internal evidence of the poem. The stuff as such is with you. Language is yours. External is internal, private, so to say. External evidence means what time he wrote it, when did he, what was he doing, where was he sitting, to whom did he address, and things like that. So, odd negation, odd on negation, I'm sorry. Then, to whom, at what time, when. So, those things you get from external evidence. That means, external means private. You get it from your, even just now I told you about that label name Sans Mercy. It could be by reading the biography of the poet, sometimes you may be able to find something, some idea, you may get some idea, some information about that. And then he says, third evidence is internal, so that is 2 and 3, external and internal. External and intermediate. That is 2 and 3. Intermediate evidence is semi-private evidence. External is private and intermediate evidence is semi-private. Even though you know these evidences, still it's very difficult to find out. Examples we have seen. Road to Xanadu by Professor Lowes, and also the example which I have given, T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. People say, even he himself says, if you want to know the symbolism of this poem, you better refer these two books. But still, that is not an evidence at all. We have seen so. For the time being, we wind up. We will continue with the evidences in the next classes. Till then, bye. Have a nice day. Enjoy your life.